Buenas, buenas tardes. Unfortunately, these are the two only Spanish words that will be included in this presentation. I was actually sitting in the room a little bit earlier, maybe an hour ago. The panel conversation was in Spanish, but I managed to pick up a few topics. And it was, how does collaboration impulse innovation in sports? And I think at UEFA, we've created a program that encapsulates exactly this collaborative mindset when trying to innovate with impact. And what we mean by innovation with impact is that all of the solutions that we pilot in my team at the UEFA Innovation Hub are meant to create value for UEFA, for European football as a whole, through our national associations, the clubs and the leagues, but also for society. So the idea today is to explain to you in a few minutes what Champions Innovate is. It's a program we've put together for the past 2 years. We're just launching year 3 for Budapest, and the idea during this talk is to shed some light on what we developed in Munich over the past few months. So we'll start with a video. I hope it works. Yes, so it looks good, and we'll explain just a little bit after.
What is Champions Innovate? Champions Innovate is a program designed by UEFA which aims to create solutions to big challenges using the power of football and the platform of the Champions League final. In this second edition, the focus is on physical activity and healthy lifestyle. Which startups are making waves? There's Equip Sport from Switzerland, who provide a variety of sports equipment in easily accessible stations around parks in Europe through a user-friendly app. And Dutch-based FC Urban handle the logistics of organising matches, allowing players to pick a time and place which works for them, make friends and get fit. Who are the sponsors? Adidas are partnering with Equip Sports, while MasterCard are teaming up with FC Urban. Where is it? The final showcase event for our pilot projects will take place in late May in Munich, the host city for the Champions League final.
So now you know what Champions Innovate is about. I can get off the stage. No, jokes aside, we've put together this program because we wanted to be aligned with what the UEFA Strategy 2024-2030 states, which is that we want to position football at the core of society. And there's no bigger stage than the ultimate stage of club competition football, which is the Champions League final. So basically, we wanted to leave a positive legacy for the hosting of the Champions League final in a specific city, while working with commercial partners, with startups, and to bring collaboration between all of these different actors to actually lead tangible results and tangible projects for the host city. So basically, we've put together a network of stakeholders with whom UEFA already entertains relationship, and we told them, you're going to get to work to solve a challenge that is defined together between UEFA and the host city of the Champions League final. So as you may have understood in the video, the topic for this past season was how can we promote healthy and active lifestyles among the citizens of Munich while leveraging the power of the Champions League brand. And so basically, the city of Munich and UEFA together joint efforts to develop this challenge, and then we presented the opportunity to all of the commercial partners linked to the Champions League. 2 partners decided to get on board this season. We have MasterCard and Adidas. And then based on the specific categories of challenges we developed with each of the partners, we sourced one startup affected to each of these challenges. And basically, for the past 5 months, we've been working together at developing these pilots and implementing them in Munich. And we presented the results of these 2 pilots at a final showcase event that took place 2 days before the Champions League final. So the 2 challenges we were actually working on with both MasterCard and Adidas were related to encouraging more active lifestyles for citizens of Munich. So the one with MasterCard was mostly linked to access to sport and inclusivity. So how can we tackle some of the barriers that prevent people from accessing sport, but namely football in our case, and tackle these barriers to make it easier to access the sport? And then with Adidas, we looked at how can we move the fandom of the Champions League to be consumed digitally on your phone, to actually be consumed by playing football and getting out somewhere in a city, kicking a football and falling in love with practicing the sport. So the two projects that we sourced for MasterCard, we had a project with a Dutch startup named FC Urban. So basically, FC Urban, they have an expression, they want to create individual team sports. So what does that mean? Is they try to implement in football some of the mechanisms you can find in the fitness industry. So let's say you're a business traveler. You, like me, today, I'm based in Switzerland, but I am in Madrid this week. I want to book a fitness class so I can go on ClassPass, for example, and find some different classes of yoga, HIIT trainings, things like that. So FC Urban, they created the same for football. So if I arrive in a new city, I have a list of all the amateur fixtures that happen in Madrid for a specific time. And I can also look at the main strength of the players that are actually playing this match. And then I can sign up to that match, show up, and then all of the match is already organized. So you have the pitch that is booked, you have your teammates, you have the bibs, you have the ball, and then you have a referee. And so with MasterCard, to launch the project in Munich, they had no community in Munich. They actually looked at booking some pitch times, and then they organized a raffle for the players who actually played the most matches in the 6 weeks leading up to the Champions League final. The more matches you played, the more you had chances to win a pair of tickets to attend the final match, which happened at the Alliance Arena. And so throughout these 6 weeks in Munich, we had thousands of people signing up to the platform, playing matches. And in the end, it really launched this kind of community approach to a la carte football that you can play in Munich. FC Urban, obviously, it's now very early to see how the project will scale, but clearly the community in Munich is already very mobilized and definitely keen on exploring how they can grow that community in Munich, elsewhere in Bavaria, but also elsewhere in Germany. And it definitely created a boost for them to scale in the broader European football ecosystem, as they are now in discussions of operating a pilot in the Netherlands with KNVB, which is the Football Association of the Netherlands. The second project we had with Adidas is with a startup that is actually exposing just outside of this stage here, so I encourage you to go see them just after. They're from Switzerland. Their name is Equip Sport. So basically, they create these lockers. You can see it on the picture on the slide, where we actually installed the official match ball of the Champions League. It's not the replica, it's the actual match ball. And we had 35 of those lockers spread across Munich, mostly positioned in parks or public areas. And the citizens, they could just flash the QR code on the box, and they could rent for free for up to 1 hour the ball. And so they could play with the ball, and then once they were done, they just had to put it back in the locker and take a picture of the ball placed back in the locker. A little bit like when you rent a Lime scooter, for example. So it's very easy. And then there were more than 6,000 sessions, so 6,000 hours of usage of those balls in the 3 weeks leading up to the Champions League final. So this is massive, and it created an amazing opportunity for tons of people who are not members in a football club to actually fall in love with the game. And it allowed also the city of Munich to gather a lot of different sets of data to actually measure how many people use the sport, what is the profile of the people doing the sport, and also be able to keep these boxes for up to 6 months. So now we have an agreement for 6 months. The boxes will remain in Munich, but through a partnership with Adidas, actually Adidas has committed to deliver the type of equipment that the city wants to position in those boxes. So they may want to develop new sports in certain areas. So we've installed some of those boxes next to basketball courts. So they may want to put basketballs there. They can put volleyballs. They can put pickleball rackets. They could even put some games like Molki or other things. And it's a great way for the city to get new access to data on the sports practice in the city, and to also create links with the local clubs to kind of promote a kind of teaser to practicing a specific sport. So I'll show you a video now of how those two actual projects were delivered in the lead up to the final, and then I'll share a few concluding remarks.
Have fun. Ready to rumble. Come on, guys.
Go, go, go!
So these were just a few highlights of how the projects materialized in terms of activations for both of these brands in the Champions Festival. So that's the fan zone we operate in the city where we host the final every year. So that took place in the Olympic Park in Munich. But obviously these projects had been implemented in Munich in the weeks leading up to it. But the most important thing is that they're actually remaining in Munich for the next 6 months. So through the FC Urban app, now tons of people in Munich can actually play a la carte football and can get to test new approaches. And what I didn't explain, because I think in the challenge developed by MasterCard, the inclusivity aspect of football was really important. And through the data gathered by FC Urban, combined with the data of MasterCard, we can now promote specific matches for specific audiences. Obviously, some women matches, you have matches for the elderly people, you have matches for kids, while not having to full-on subscribe from the first day for a year membership in a club. So it's a great way to access the sport of football and create a new funnel directly to the club offering. So that's why we believe it's not a competing offer to the traditional club offering, but it's a new way to access the sport. And on the equip side, as I mentioned, these boxes will remain in Munich for the next 6 months, and the city is now actually looking into prolonging the partnership with the startup and also with Adidas to see how they can keep on providing sport equipment for free for the citizens to test new sports, to fall in love with new sports, and to also understand the value of the data of the sports practice in the city. And then all of this is only capable because UEFA has a direct relationship with all these different actors. And so that's what coming back to the initial statement I made, which is innovating with impact. That's what we mean, is bringing our ecosystem together, forging those collaborations between all of these actors to actually deliver tangible results. So I already have 2 minutes left, but I'm done with most of the content. Maybe what I can finish with is saying I know a lot of startups are usually coming to me after these presentations, which is fair enough. It's my role to actually discuss. What I would encourage all startups who want to speak with me or my colleagues is to actually have a discussion, not come with like a business development catchphrase to say we're going to disrupt football through AI and you're going to benefit from it. Let's just try to have a conversation and see ask us what are the challenges we're actually looking for to solve, to solve in the next few years. We're launching the new edition for Champions Innovate in Budapest next season, which will be the host of the Champions League final. We're going to launch some challenges linked to the capture of data that measure in new ways the social or environmental impact of football. So if your solutions are actually addressing those topics, we'll be very happy to have conversations. If they are not, this is fine as well. We're happy to have conversations, but these are conversations. They're not a listening session for me to listen to all of your great slogans that you generated through ChatGPT. All right, thank you very much for your attention. If you want to get in touch, you can send an email to innovation@uefa.ch, and me and my team will, with pleasure, look at all the collaboration opportunities. Thank you very much.